Now that we have power back, welcome back to some more Stormworks. I'm StormRunner Gaming, and today I am back here with not only any old top 5 here, I am here with the top 5 all-time vehicles in Stormworks. These are the 5 highest subscribed vehicles on the workshop right now, and that is actually to this date, so of course in the future these vehicles could change, but today we have 2 boats and 3 planes, helicopters, whatever you want to call them over here. And I'm actually going to be going up the list from number 5 all the way to number 1. And these are actually some crazy vehicles we've got here. They range from having 16,000 to 22,000 plus followers on that workshop. And actually some of these vehicles have stood the test of time because 3 of the 5 vehicles I have today are in the simple mode of Stormworks. They're not in advanced mode, so I'm going to have to switch over to simple mode to get some of them working. But for right now, we can sit pretty happily in this server in our advanced mode with the first vehicle on the list here. This is the Valkyrie Mach 8 there, or it's an MKVIII using those Roman numerals there. And this thing has one of the best paint jobs I've seen in Stormworks. Maybe not the top one, don't get me wrong, but I love the gradients when people do this for their creations. They just look amazing with some really nice yellow accents on the wings on the jet engines here. It does look like a really nice plane here. I'm not exactly sure if it's characterized as a plane, helicopter, what you would actually call it. I mean, we have the jet engines, and I believe the last time I flew it, they rotate around 90 degrees. So you're actually able to fly forwards. And just bear with me, I'll probably be relearning the controls here, but inside we do have medical bed and a room for a couple extra characters. And we do have fully stocked harnesses and I believe some sort of system with winches and whatnot to help and rescue people. And up here, it looks like you've jumped into the future apparently with so many buttons I couldn't even start to explain what is going on with this vehicle here, but I'm gonna try to actually take off. Alright, we've got it moving, I'm not exactly sure where I'm going here now. If you guys don't already know, I am horrible with planes, but it seems quite simple, very user-friendly of course. Doesn't seem too bad to even get out of the hangar, and I can just put the pedal to the metal now. We're actually getting a lot of height out of this thing already, and I'm not exactly sure when I'm able to throw those motors forward. There's a lot of help actually with these buttons. Hold position button. Let's see, we have magnets over there, speedometers. We have a hold altitude is on. That might actually be helping me. There's so many like assisting features right now that I'm not even touching anything. It just floats here. That's amazing. That is, I didn't even realize. Wow. There's some really cool painted blocks on the top of this thing. I didn't even realize. Apparently I was just arrogant to that at the moment when I was first looking at it. Or maybe they added it in later, I don't know. Then again, I do have a bad memory. So, I guess here goes nothing. I'm going to try to tilt those engines forward and see if this... I mean, we're flying. It's gone into a pretty nice plane mode, getting some very fast, I'm assuming meters per second on that speed. Not exactly sure where we're going, but it's very stable. I'm surprised. My planes are, it looks like a large salmon trying to jump back in the water from the clouds or something, but this thing, I'm talking about my planes there. They also do look like big stupid salmon in the sky versus this thing. Looks amazing. I wonder if it's as easy to land as it is to fly. I'm assuming we can throw it right back into that hovering mode, but this is definitely that high speed, get where you need to go quite quick for any type of rescue and whatnot. Of course, if you are using it for the survival season or the survival game mode, you'd have to unlock a lot of jet engine parts as well as some other things. I'm assuming there's a lot of logic in here, and I couldn't even get started on what they have put into this. Let's see if we throw engine tilt back here. I'm assuming that hold altitude is going to help us out here, and even hold position might help us out. Ooh. Thinking about what's going on. I'm not touching anything. I think it is trying to just hold its position, so I'm gonna tell it to hold position off and just give me a held altitude right now. So I'm actually gonna try and... What the... So those rear exhausts for the jet engines are actually pivoting around and actually giving me some nice thrust here for turning, maneuvering. So this thing is very maneuverable. I'm surprised. I haven't flown this thing. I was about to say driven. Haven't flown this thing in a little while here, so it's amazing still after it's been out for a little while though. I mean, I think a lot of creators do of course go back for their bigger builds and update them from time to time. I think one or two on the list at least have been updating, or have been updated, excuse me, since their arrival to the workshop, but I think that's one of the easiest, if not the easiest thing I've ever driven off of the workshop. I've ever flown. That was insane. I see why a lot of people have actually gotten this off the workshop and have used it. It is a really good vehicle. And I love the little directions on the outside as well. On the other side, let me see if I can find it. It has the different caps for water, jet fuel, and electric here as well. So that's a really cool addition to it. But sadly, I can't spend so much time on each vehicle today, so I'm going to jump on to the next one. And one real quick thing before we do move on here to the next creation, I do want to tip my hat here, give some acknowledgement to the creator of each one of these creations here. So Red Paradise from the workshop, I'd love to commend you on this build. But anyways, we are going to jump on to the next one here. Alright, we have jumped back into a new server here, and I'm actually in a simple server, but that is not to discredit the amazing creation we have here. Of course, for the first couple months that Stormworks was out to us, we only had that simple mode to our name, so everyone was creating amazing and wonderful creations there. So, like I was talking about earlier, some of them just have stood the test of time, and they are so good creations, it doesn't even matter that they were built within that simple mode. But anyways, this is the XH-01 Search and Rescue helicopter here, made by Kish. So I'd like to commend you on your amazing creation and the top 5 of the workshop on number 4. Let's actually see if I still remember how to fly this one. We got those engines started up. I actually have used this one for a video or two, I believe. Alright, we are finally out of that hangar. It took me a minute or two to figure out all of the controls yet again. But we have a working helicopter, and I remember this thing back. It's probably at least a year old now. But this thing, it was definitely popular back then, and it's definitely still pretty popular. It works pretty well, and I'm assuming we've got auto hover. We can put altitude hold on as well. We may be drifting up a little bit. I'm not exactly sure what's happening with the altitude. Maybe auto hover has to be turned off. Something's up with that. But anyways, it's holding the engine on at least for us. This is one of the first helicopters, I think. Don't quote me on this. I might actually be wrong. But one of the first helicopters that had auto hover and all of this crazy rescuing stuff on the back end that you could use to rescue people off of ships, off of islands, off of locations you couldn't get to with boats and with other helicopters where you couldn't land them. So this thing was revolutionary at the time, and I'm not exactly sure if it was the first one. Again, don't quote me on that. But yeah, it was still an amazing helicopter for the time. I really enjoyed using it for the time being, and my extreme helicopter skills don't seem to be helping me out here. Let's see if we can... Okay, we can save it. We might be drifting a little bit. Just a little bit through the skies. Oh, come on. Say up, 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 up. Up. Oh. I don't know how it's still running through that, but that's crazy. So, yeah, it looks like I've put another helicopter, plane, whatever, another air vehicle into the ocean here. Apparently my insurance bill is going to be crazy here, so let's bring that back to the workshop. Alright, we have the first of 2 on this top 5 list here, and this vessel is christened the Orion class Mach 6 here, and it's created by a person who actually has their name already up on the top 5 list, Red Paradise. So congratulations for getting yet another amazing creation up on the top 5 most subscribed list on the workshop here. But this is an amazing mid-sized vessel here with a lot of capabilities. It's got a crane on the back end with some hydraulic power. It's got a drone with some power on it, plenty of fire suppression with that cannon on the front end. It's got a lot of different controls going back here. We've got hydrofoils on the front end with a pretty powerful engine to get you anywhere you're going quite quickly, and plenty of room for the crew as well. We're going to take a little abbreviated tour around the vessel here. So we do have a little bit of extra chairs in that little gallery there, or that little entranceway. Have some extra rooms here, as well as a shower. I've never seen that. That actually looks quite cool though. And we have another room, or actually this is the medical bay, is it not? Yeah, we have a couple medical beds, as well as, what is this? We have emergency hatches to get out, just in case anything happens. Hopefully nothing should happen to us, but let's go down to the lower level as well. And we've got a couple different rooms down here, some more crew quarters, as well as the main engine room with 2 engines down here. And just like I was talking about, this is in the simple mode, so we don't have many pipes running around it, and actually does clean up some stuff. It makes it look better, even though you don't get that cool look. But nonetheless, it still is an amazing ship, as well as getting, I'm assuming all of these are crew quarters around here, right? And then in the front we have the eatery, as well as the kitchen, or the dining hall, the mess hall. One of those words, whatever you want to put onto the room, we can use for it. But anyways, let's get back up to the top of the ship and get some things rolling here. I'm assuming once we hit this, we should have plenty of controls. Yep, getting us started there. I know we can speed ourselves up with a higher max power from those dual engines on the back end, giving us a higher MPS here. I'm going to turn on those hydrofoils, and let's see. I think we have to activate a little bit of control from the... No, it's actually automatic with those hydrofoils. That's pretty nice, actually. I'm interested to see, is that a little bit of a tilt? I mean, that's not a problem, especially since we have all of that power coming off the back end here. But, I don't know, I've never seen anything hydrofoil where it's got the front end so much higher than the back end. But, I mean, it could be some sort of engineering design mimicking something in real life, which is actually kind of cool. I mean, I've tried to simulate stuff in Stormworks from real-life vessels, so if it's something like that, it's a pretty cool feature to it. I know we do have a lot of other hydrofoil controls here as well. We do have cruise control over here, so I can be quite lazy and not look at that much anymore. We have water compartment levels down here as well, a cool added feature to it, with some controls, as well as I shouldn't play around with buttons there, but what is this control? Crane operator, alright, and then drone pilot. Alright, I'm liking the sound of this drone pilot. Let's see what the drone actually can do. I've never tried the drone on the back end here. Drone winch magnet. So we've got WASD for drone controls, and then if we increase the drone's max power, we're not getting the drone off the ground yet. Drone winch magnet. Yeah, we have the same drone controls here, but I'm just wondering, I'm not getting any lift power. We have our north, south, east, west controls with the WASD here, but I'm not getting much of any lift off of the drone. Maybe I have to go click a button on it or something, but I don't know. There also could be problems with it where an update is messed up, which is the sad truth about a lot of older creations in the game. Especially with early access games, you're going to get a lot of compatibility issues, which, I mean, it's just the sad truth because the game is always evolving, it's changing, and some things may not be there when they previously were a feature in the game. But yeah, this is an amazing vessel, and there's so many more things I could say about all of these, but sadly I'm trying to keep it down, and I don't have as much time for this video today, so sadly I'm going to move on to the next vessel on our list here. Coming in at number 2, we have the Imperial C-3500, and this amazing large Coast Guard vessel was created by Boopus. I'm not exactly sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Or I don't know. I do apologize if I did mispronounce this, but yet again, it's an amazing creation that you've had, and this has actually been on the workshop for months, if not a year or more now, and I've had this creation for a while, and I've probably actually thrown it into a video or two with how much stuff we have on here, from the helipad on the back end to amazing smokestacks. Yet again, this is the final simple vehicle on the roster here, but nonetheless it is an amazing vehicle. And I think, if I remember correctly, we have a lot of crew quarters running down this hallway, as well as a little bit of seating for any rescued guests there. Then we have a large, I guess medium area here, some television, tables, kitchen, and whatnot, and then it just keeps going. There is a lot of boat to go through here. Well, this is the engine room. I thought there was a lot of boat. Maybe I'm thinking of another vessel here, but it is still a very large vessel. We have different floors, levels going everywhere, which way. We have, I believe this was the smaller, you could fit a lifeboat or whatever else you wanted in through here. And can you actually open this back door? Maybe I'm thinking of another vessel where you could open the back door and bring a boat in, but nonetheless, I'm assuming this might just be a swimming pool on the back end. I don't know if it was the first, but it's definitely a pretty cool feature to add in here. Maybe not as practical for rescuing purposes, but nonetheless, it's still pretty needed for a nice day off for our rescuing crew. And I don't exactly remember how to get upstairs. I know we can kind of parkour our way up there, but I'm seeing the ladder on the back end. There's probably some stairs or something on that first floor there that we were walking around, but looks like we've got some extra seating and tables up here as well. And we can get into the main control room here. And this, I mean, it's nothing to write home about, and I'm not meaning that in any disregards. I'm not trying to be mean about it, but it's flown through the times. I mean, this was amazing when it first came out, but as Stormworks has progressed and became more and more crazy with Lewis screens, instrument panels, I mean, this thing is kind of basic, and of course I don't mean that to be rude, to be boastful and whatnot, but it's still an amazing vessel. I mean, if I could get these looks on a boat I'd build today, I'd be impressed. I would love to see it fly up on the workshop, but yeah, let's see what it's capable of. We have 2 buttons here, 2 engines I'm assuming, and that gets us up and going now. It seems like we got a lot of power from those 2 diesel engines on the back end. Almost seems like they got like a turbo on it or something. We do have a couple other things. A Morris lamp. I don't think I've ever played around with that. Maybe that was an update to the vessel after I had used it for a little while and moved on. We do have plenty of spotlight controls. There's a couple other lights around the vessel as well. I don't know. We do have plenty of lights around the vessel, and blinking? That's actually kind of cool. I've done that on vessels before with the helipad where you get the blinking lights, but I think if we throw it over to night here, yeah, that looks amazing. Alright, we are back at the daytime with our vessel here, and yeah, I think that's about all we can go through here. We do have a bunch of coordinates, I'm assuming from a GPS here. But anyways, yeah, that is where I'm going to bring this guy back into port and bring up our #1 most subscribed vehicle from the workshop. We have made it to our #1 on the list with over 22,000 followers here and even more views. This is the most viewed, most followed, most used airplane on the workshop to date, and I've actually played around with this a little bit, never actually for a video, I don't think, but nonetheless this airplane is impressive. It's got a lot of features to it, as well as being pretty good in the sky. It's got some nice looks to it, as well as plenty of room, and this thing, I don't know, it seems like a stretched limo of the skies, because it kind of just keeps going as you run back and back and back. From storage on the back end with that toilet here as well. And then we have medical bays, an extra door on this side, as well as a bed. Plenty of cabin room. Why does it show fuel capacity in the... I've never actually noticed that. For some reason, the inhabitants over there, or the passengers in that compartment, need to know how much fuel the plane has. You know, just in case the pilot's not realizing we're going to run out of fuel. But there's a very large cargo bay here as well. And we have a small crane that will extend and help you rescuing, I don't know, people, objects, whatever you need to use. So I'm actually going to close that cargo bay door. And I think, if you guys know any of my reputation with planes, I've only gotten this off the ground once successfully. So, I'm going to need your hopes, your prayers, whatever you can give me. I'm going to need it right now to try and see if I can actually get this thing off of the ground. Alright, let's get these engines started. This has ABS brakes. Interesting. Alright, it sounds like we've got some engines here. So we have throttle from those engines. And let's give it a little bit of up force. Just a little bit. Come on. And we are up in the sky. I mean, we're not very far up in the sky right now. And even those middle wings are helping us get up into the sky. I mean, I do apologize. I know very little airplane terms. I don't know what they're actually doing for us right now. They look kind of weird. It's like it's a bird or something. But this Lewis screen, I'm assuming that is a newer addition, of course, since the Lewis screens have been added quite recently. But this thing is quite amazing. Let's see, let's get some coordinates in here for a GPS target. That's not good. Okay, we've got a decent height on us. So let's go to the map real quick, and let's say we want to go over to that island over there. So we can just set that in there and tell our autopilot to go over there. Okay, I'm not touching anything. I've actually never done autopilot for anything other than ships in Stormworks. So letting a plane take control is quite interesting here. I'm not exactly sure what it's going to do. We're banking quite hard and going down very fast, so let's just give it a little bit more engine throttle and see what it does. We can control the speed of ourselves. I might have wanted to read the manual a little bit better. We were supposed to apparently set our altitude for our GPS autopilot. And so this is not the mistake of the creation. That is my own idiocracy here that has sent us into the drink. Hopefully you guys won't let my inability to fly planes mark you down as not trying to use this thing, because this thing is quite amazing. I know a lot of people have actually used this before, so it's still a pretty good plane. I don't know if it actually can or can't take off from the water. I believe it actually can, but you just can't get those jet engines wet. Maybe you have to let them clear out some air, or excuse me, clear out some water before you try to restart them. If you do land it in the water and botch it up a little bit, you just need to let them air out or something. But yeah, so that is our top 5 most subscribed list here. Of course, you guys can always see this on the workshop if you do own the game, going to that workshop and going to the most subscribed. Usually you have to click over from most recent or most popular, and it'll usually be that middle tab there. But yeah, I'm really interested to see if anything else does jump into that top 5 category. But still, these are some amazing contenders that we have here today for our top 5 most subscribed vehicles. So if you guys do have any other creations from the workshop that you think I should check out, any close contenders for the top 5 most subscribed, you can leave a comment down below. Maybe I will do a video after this one bringing up some more creations from that workshop, because I love putting a spotlight to creators from the workshop with amazing and innovative new creations, or something that's taken an idea that's been here for a while and just put it on its head. Created something brand new, something different, something interesting, an amazing art style on their vehicle. Yeah, so if you guys have anything that fits any of those categories, send me a link to them in the descriptions, or just what you thought about the video. I'd love to hear. But anyways, yeah, that is where I will be ending my episode for real now. So of course, if you guys did like this, please leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel to stay up with Stormworks and more of my content. But I've never been great. Goodbye. Some people need me, and I need to go.